Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie Holder. This is a weather and lifestyle news show, and this is Thursday. As everybody enjoying their Thursday, we got a cold front coming through, and I thought this is going to be great. So I checked my phone, and the weather bugs got us at 30 degrees. We got to 33 today, according to Weather Channel, and not Weather Channel, Weather Bug. And then we went to 102 from 31 degrees to 102 with a heat index of 115. Yeah, I was hoping there was an ice age happening. I was going to laugh at the ecologist and say, look at 30 degrees in Arkansas. I kept looking out the door. I kept opening the door and looking out and taking the puppies out, and it was still hot. I come back in and we got to the high of 34 here before it changed. Wow. It just goes to show you everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, and typos. It should have been probably about 90. I don't know how they got 30 to 90 or 100. Those keys are far apart. It was at Celsius. They're not going to explain themselves. WeatherBug's just going to say, we put 102 up there. We're good to go. Karen's just now getting in the room, and she's busy today. It's raining there. Are we going to see an earthquake there? It's all stacked up, ready to go up the East Coast to somewhere. We don't know. It's the twilight zone of earthquakes at this point. I don't know why Dutchins doesn't just admit to it, that this is earthquakes all over the place. How strange is it that China floods, the New York, LA floods? All right. Then we got all these. Now, Mexico seeded the clouds. And they seeded it from Panama all the way up, about half, just north of Mexico. And they said it would bring rain from Panama all the way up through Mexico to Baja, to San Diego, LA, Arizona, New Mexico. Look at what we're getting. They pre-warned us 2 months ago. Huh. You're out of balance today. Stand on one foot and touch your nose. No, that's a DUI thing. See if you can recite the alphabet, the middle of it, without singing. Yeah. Karen, have you been drinking today? Huh. All right. So let's get on. Let's see if it comes up. Oh, yeah, looky there. And I think we have Miss Davis. I think William's got a crush on Miss Davis. And Karen's got a crush on Ari. I think we're going to stick with Weather Channel with these crushes.
Well, we started our week with the system in the Gulf, and we could be tracking another one pretty soon. Actually, we are right now. This is just an area of disturbed weather in the northwestern Caribbean, but we're going to be watching it closely for potential development. Right now, it has a medium chance. It does have some wind shear to get through as it makes its way into the Gulf, but conditions could be favorable for potential development into next week. So that is what we are going to be watching closely to see if it's our next named storm. Hi, I'm Devin Mike.
Wow. Um, Hurricanes. 'Tis the season. Now we haven't seen nothing. We are hot, so we're set up for tornado season as the cool weather moves in next week with rain. Um, so we are looking at tornado season. We're looking at hurricane season, and it looks like it's going to be fierce. Uh, um, all right, let's. Franklin could become Atlantic's hurricane that sends swells to U.S. coast. Um, so
There's a look at the
um,
tropics and
let me pull this up. Oh, there we go.
tropical storm Franklin still taking center stage. It's moved past the Dominican Republic yesterday and it's pulling away from the Turks and Caicos Islands today. So here's a look at the path. This isn't done. This is going to move into the open waters of the Atlantic and strengthen. So Franklin could become a hurricane as it moves west of Bermuda. Now, as far as U.S. impacts, what we could see from this storm is increased wave heights, and we can notice that by this weekend. So as it continues to move to the north, northeast, that will up the waves along the east coast for next week.
So you could see it's going to be Charleston, Hatteras, Nantucket, Halifax is going to be the ones hit with the storm surges with storms. So if you're close to that, you could see a significant amount of rain. Okay. Um, this third grade teacher, Karen, you missed out at the beginning of the show. Now, I caught this. A law and crime sent it to me, and my court TV people sent it to me, said, Ellie, you need to get this on your show. And I thought for Monday, I'm going to get into it real deep. I just want to report on this. A third grade teacher being arrested after allegedly being drunk on the first day of school. And they say this isn't a new thing. Now, she had they had been suspicious of her since last year. And she would be okay in the mornings. And right about lunchtime, she was uh, slurring her words, staggering, yelling at the kids, falling asleep in class. Um, they found her in her car, passed out. Um, there's been quite a few things that's happened with this woman. So, how do you feel if you had your third grader, first, a second grader, even first grader? I thought it was a first grade teacher. And then she tried to hide the evidence. And she kept saying, let me call somebody. Let me call somebody. And they said, okay, call somebody. Oh, I don't have their numbers. I don't have their phone. Misdirected where her phone was. Up to crying with no tears. But I don't want to get into the whole thing of her being drunk and arrested and being taken away. I want to look at this was a third grade teacher that was drunk on the job. And she said, oh, I was drinking at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I was drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so she got up at 3 and had her first, and she was talking wine out of a box. So she gets up and drinks wine to wake up. And then when she gets to school, she drinks more. And then at noon, she drinks more. No wonder she was 2 times the legal limit. And they didn't even have her touch her nose or cite the ABCs or any of that. They just arrested her and took her in. And then she was worried about her kids seeing her being arrested. Didn't they see her for the last few years drunk in class? Wow. We're going to have to start looking at these teachers. And she said the stress was getting to her. Well, why not ask for time off? I mean, you had the whole summer, and she was on antidepressants. I mean, if you can't handle the job, quit. If you got to drink and be in charge of third graders, quit. Time to resign. And, even the principal was nice enough to say, we can either fire you or you can resign. That was nice. I would have fired her, but I would have said, oh no, I'm going to ruin your career. But she was taking resignation. So I don't want to get too far into that, but wow, a third grade teacher drunk on the first day of school. Um, we don't want to miss the largest full moon of the year. Oh boy. Um, it's probably, if you guys like the moon and you want to check it out with a telescope, even the simple ones, even the better ones, you can see the craters. Uh, this will be the closest, the fullest moon, they say, in its glory. The full moon, and not only that, the meteor showers is supposed to be the best to watch this weekend. So get out the blanket, lay out, or if go out at least once tonight and this weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and look up and watch it for a little bit. So you could say you watched it. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be the most active meteor showers they say they've seen in history. Get out there, go watch it. Get your kiddos out there, grandkids, kids, great grandkids. It's time to get a telescope. We had India land on the southern pole. We're getting more and more everybody wanting to be on the moon and dice it up to what country can have what. We just leave the moon alone. Yeah, that's how I feel. Um, DC got flooded. And the one thing they didn't even look at was the homeless. They did that out in um, uh, San Diego, San Francisco. When it started flooding, it was for to each his own, and you had to run for cover and emergency shelter, and they weren't putting out anything on where people should go. The first calls came into DC office of United Communications between 5 and 5:10, with callers explaining to dispatchers the gravity of the situation. Now, they said they were going to get FEMA to put in offices to take a look at what happened, what's still going on, and get to the root of the situation before they do anything. But they're going to get millions of dollars. Wow. The call, however, was misclassified when DC fire and EMS officials and the dispatcher were describing the situation as a water leak. The outlet reported, unaware that the reality of the situation was more urgent, and the call was put on hold. The acting director, Heaven McGoffin, and of the City of Unified Communications, acknowledge things could have been done differently. Yeah. Um, but what they did is they put the migrants and homeless in flood areas. They moved them. LA did it too. LA, they put their migrants in harm's way with the floods. And they did the same thing with Hawaii. They sent the kids home to the houses to burn. It's been appalling, frankly, the way the city has handled this, just up and down. This was by Jonathan Guerrero. Hensley revealed the city had assured him that business was safe after heavy rains led to the flooding. Officials claiming it was once in a 150-year incident. That's if you fact check, that's a lie. We had it 39 years ago. Don't go putting it over 100 years. Come on. Uh, San Diego, uh, LA, San Francisco, and in between, either fires or flood. Now we're seeing heavy rain hit Colorado and the Colorado River, which is sending mud down into LA with another system, Franklin or Harold, coming across that's going to slam the same areas. Wow. Um, on this day in history, oh yeah, I know you guys want to know about it. August 24th, 1932. Amelia Earhart becomes the first woman to fly solo coast to coast. Yeah, back then in 1932, women weren't supposed to do this. How dare her do this? But she made the papers. She made the Times. Um, it was a 3,900 kilometer or a 2,400 flight set. And the U.S. official recorded the woman's distance and time, according to the National Air and Space Museum. But she did go down. But she has been recognized since then as the first woman to make it to space, or a famous pilot. A spotless giraffe. Wow. How do we get that? They say it's rare. There you go. There he is. A spotless giraffe. And they said this doesn't happen. This is unusual. It was reported in 1972 at the Inyo Zoo in Tokyo based on archive incidents. But now we see a Tennessee zoo with the same thing that happened. So it really wasn't 39 years like they want to claim. Let's just say it's been about 20, 30 years before we seen a spotless uh, giraffe. More and more. Have you ever seen the elephants swing their little trunks around? I mean, it's wild. They just swing it around, swing it around. Everybody thought that was something wrong or they were sick. What about it being the zoomies? Like dogs and cats get, they run all over the place. Elephants can't really run, and this is their way as a puppy to use their energy to where they can just calm down and sleep overnight. Um, you know how many times I've shown you airplane mishaps, and they're starting to see the same people getting on other flights, doing the same thing, spewing the same words. And now they're saying they're finally starting to look at physically assaulting flight attendants. And it didn't last long in these circumstances. They found it was a fault of the rider or those that were on the plane. A few of them scream they cannot hear the instructions from the flight attendant and they're wrong on seatbelts. Mm. attempting to open the emergency exit door. There's been at least a dozen of them, they say. A dozen. So, what is your chances of getting on one of these flights with someone that just loses it? Do you act, react, or just sit quietly in your chair? Attempting to open the emergency exit door. There you go. I'm sorry, I didn't have sound, folks. I was trying to fix it. I'm sorry. Investigators news, man. Yeah, I'm okay. Um, uh, Boy, I didn't have sound. It warned me. I had a big warning on there: no sound, no video, no internet, no. And you guys were all talking, and I was like, wow. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the show. All right. Um, um, oh boy, now I'm really lost. Um, um, Goodness. I had all the warnings come up. I'm sorry, folks. Um, Amelia Earhart, I got to go through these things in the giraffe. Uh, Boy, this was odd. I was getting warnings. Did you guys hear the I was getting um, when you get viruses, I was getting all of it. So I didn't know what to do. I was trying to fix everything really quick. So all right. So for uh, now, you know what? Lee's in here. Lee has got a recipe to detox. Everything. Lee, if you'll put the ingredients down in chat for us. All right. While I figure this out, because I'm still getting disconnects. Just now, I got a disconnect. Um, Boy, this is crazy. All right. So we have got um, people on the airplanes that are being kicked off, and um, they're attempting to open the emergency exit. Get this. At least 3 out of 5. They say unruly passengers. They're not even calling them Karens anymore. They're calling these uh, people with mental issues that need to be locked up. 3 out of 5 are trying to open the doors. Um, then skip lagging. Um, uh, they're flying with a company for using a cool savings hack known as skip lagging, but the customer buys a ticket and doesn't complete the entire route. And when they do that, then when they go to get back on their last leg of their journey, they're being hit with huge amount of a ticket that they have to pay because they didn't stick to what the policy said. Once they veer from it, okay, so then they get on the plane and they're unruly and they're being kicked off. Oh yeah. um, and most of it um, is bags that are too big, because you can check your bag. Now, I've seen videos where the bags fit, and they say, "Oh no, 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 you can't take it on." I've seen bags that really aren't going to fit, and they're hauled off in the middle of the airport. All right. Um, um, Now, on Airline, this was just a couple months ago. Uh, a flight attendant was beat up. I mean, to the point of unconsciousness. Uh, they basically were throwing punches and attempts to jump from the plane. Like I said, about the door, the attendant wouldn't let this gentleman out the door, so he beat her up and to the point of she was unconscious. And other passengers jumped him and kept him from opening the doors mid-flight. Oh, wow. All right, let's get on to this next one. More dolphins are stranded in Cape Cod than anywhere else. Um, wow. The thing with this is, folks, they're thinking it's the wind generators that are messing with the dolphins. Now, they're looking at corrosive um, windmills or these generators under the ground. So, um, and this organization now has stepped forward to protect the animals, not just the seals and the sea lions, the sharks, the whales, jellyfish. They are now going to go worldwide because they see that we need to get the wind generators out of the oceans. Now, and I think this is a good time because all the ones that we put in 2015 with this administration has now got to replace them. It's a good time. I don't care if you line the coast, don't put them out in the ocean. And I really don't like them on the beaches because it's killing birds. It's time to realize this was a bad idea. Now go to the solar panels and we'll go from there. But you got to take these wind generators down. I mean, this is thousands of birds a day, really, and even the American eagle. They're finding them dead. They don't want to talk about that. Oh boy! All right, let's get some better news. Um, like the funny post. Yeah. The other thing, folks, I want to say is um, when we're looking at ecology and saving the planet, okay, it's one thing. They're burning down trees, and the trees was one of the big things they fought for in the 70s. It was the spotted owl. William, do you remember that? It was up around Oregon. And they said, oh no, because of the owl, you can't cut trees down. You can't you can't do this. And it was a protection of the trees. What is it now? I mentioned to a friend today, I went to um, um, Colorado Springs about 15 years ago, and the trees were gray. I seen the same thing when I went out to California about 10 years ago. And I said, you know what? When they're gray, they're pre-burnt. We got to do something about these fires. I mean, it's sparked back up in BC. And there was a family that when the same thing happened as like over in Hawaii, where the fire department was called off. They were told to stand down. These people are trying to put their homes out on this big block. And because the fire was so big, the fire department was told to stand down. And so they went and down the road, and the fire department was just sitting there drinking water. And they said, "Are you going to help us? Our houses, save our houses, please." They said, "Okay, we'll be there." They went back up. They are got hoses. They're trying to hoses and sprinklers and everything going on to save their houses. And no fire department. The guy went back down there again, and they're just sitting there. Why would it? Why in BC? I'll have a further story on this on Monday, folks. I want to get the whole thing. I want to get it word for word and make sure I'm getting this right. And they asked. I got a message saying, please share this story. When the fire department's told to stand down, who did that? Who did it? Was it Trudeau? Is that what happened in Hawaii when they ran out of when there was no water? And I know this is very political, folks, but I think it needs to be said on this show to show you that these fires, we have got issues, not only with the local police departments, the fire departments, and everything, but we need to start looking at our trees, our own front yard, our neighborhood, and make sure we protect it. All right, let's get. I'm ready for the funny post, folks. So British signs, yeah, in the laundromat, automatic washing machines. Please remove all your clothes when the light goes out. Yeah, okay. I Some might take that literally, but oh boy, with what we see today, they could take off all their clothes. In London department store, bargain basements is upstairs. In an office, would the person who took the step ladder yesterday kindly bring it back, or further steps will be taken? In another office, after the tea break, staff should empty the teapot, stand upside down, and uh, on the draining board. Quicksand warning. Really, UK's got quicksand. I seen this earlier, and I was like, I didn't know they had quicksand. Any person passing this point will be drowned by the order of the district council. I thought it was a quicksand. All right. Um, Small towns. What about small towns? My hometown was so small, the clinic was called Joe's Hospital and Grill. Long distance calls are delayed when the area code is busy. Remember party lines? You know, I grew up in California and we had just, you'd pick up the phone. I moved out here in 1980. And the place I lived outside the base, it was all party lines. I was like, really? Wasn't the party line? I thought in the 1800s, they're all looking, the people at the phone company are looking at me like I'm stupid. And I'm like, really? I have to have a party line? They said, yep, where you live, that's all party line. I said, so how do I talk to family members? They said, oh, just call them up, but you got everybody in town listening. 1980. In order to paint traffic lines, the road had to be widened. Instead of houses, the fire department uses water pistols. Yep. Yeah, you can't depend on the hose. The local Motel 6 sleeps six only. Yep, there's no more room after six people. Uh, During a boxing match, both men have to sit in the same corner. It's so small. This is small towns, folks. And the mayor was also the sheriff, town council, and the street sweeper, and even the garbage man. Oh, that's a small town. Uh, there was no town idiot. Everyone had to take turns. So that is it for the show. Sorry about that delay, but boy, I had all kinds of warnings. Um, I don't know what it was with my computer. I mean, big warnings. I almost, ended the broadcast to restart it. All right, folks. With that, we will have today's news and world news coming up next. And boy, I've got some great news today. I almost told William that maybe he needs to hang out and chat today. Well, William, hang out and chat today. You might have something to say. All right, share and subscribe and hit that like button. And I apologize for the delay in the show. Um, it wasn't letting me do anything. So no sound, no connection, no picture. I was black, but you guys were talking. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, are they cutting me? Are they fixing to ban me? Are they what is going on with YouTube? They're fixing to take away my last strike, and boy, I've had some internet issues that says YouTube is watching, but it's okay. Tell your friends to watch us because we tell the truth. And with that, folks, we will see you all in 30 minutes, and if not, then we will. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, trivia day, and we're excited about it. All right, so come on back and share and subscribe and hit that and hit the ring, hit the bell so you can be notified when I'm on. Let's push us way up there in our totals for people watching.